Grace and peace, everybody. Good to see you. Grace and peace. Happy Lord's Day. Happy Sunday to you all. All right. You saw the thumbnail, you saw the title, so you know what we're about to do. So let's get at it. I want to real quick welcome each and every one of the new subscribers as well as new members to the channel. I want to thank you all for taking the time to not only click that bell notification, hit that subscribe button, hit the join button. I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me. And I don't want you to think I'm not looking at you. I'm trying to make sure that everything sounds good on the old interweb. So real quick, let's see how it sounds. All right. Yikes. Right before I went live, I pulled my mic cable out and I wanted to just double check, make sure nothing had changed. And it sounds like everything is golden. Thank y'all so much for your patience. Thank you so much for hanging out with me on this evening. I want to say thank you again to the moderators. Welcome to everybody who's stopping by to say hi. Good to have y'all here on this evening. And we are ready to go. So I've been doing a lot of stuff on Fonnie Willis. If you do like that kind of stuff, if you're liking the conversation we've been having about Fonnie Willis, you just don't know where to find it all, there actually is a playlist on my channel called Fonnie Willis. And pretty much all the videos that we do about Fonnie Willis will be in there, so you can just have your pick and just kind of see what we've talked about in the past, see what we're talking about, hopefully, in the future. So there's that as well. So please make sure you check that out. And let me see, move that over. Perfect. All right. Now, this week, let's just be honest. The last 7 days have been absolutely bonkers, okay? So there's just a lot to go over. There's a lot to cover. There's a lot of different moving pieces. So first of all, we had the Fonnie Willis win here in Georgia, the victory in her primary. And, that was a big shakeup. There was a lot of things that came out of that hopefully we will see some good things come out of it. But, I mean, it's a reality. So she did, of course, win there. Then we got the explosive testimony by Amanda Timpson. We looked at that, and that was fantastic. That was great. She was before the Georgia Senate Committee. They're just doing a hearing to try to figure out, do they need to make some laws and adjustments to some different laws in order to stop some of the things that we're seeing, which is what we call good old corruption. So if you missed that, don't you worry about it. Don't you worry about it. It's going to be in the Fonnie Willis playlist as well. Also, if you wanted to support Amanda Timpson, she has a GoFundMe, and this the DWC crew, the DWC Nation, if you will, they really supported her big time on Thursday. If you would like to do that, the link is pinned to the top. Feel free to check her out and let her know that you support her in her efforts to bring justice and get justice and relief from her whistleblower situation. So and of course, the moderators, you're welcome to drop that link in there as well. Before we get too far afield, let's just go ahead and just type mods in the chat. Just go ahead and give the moderators a shout out, because the moderators that are here, even though I see them over there modding in other places with other faces, you know what? We got to give them some shine. So shout out to the moderators. You all are amazing. I want to take a quick second to say thank you for all that you do. Again, I don't want to start naming names, but I don't want to miss anybody's name. So y'all know who y'all are. If you got that wrench by your name, I'm talking to you. And I want to say thank you very much. So if y'all could, if you're in the chat, go ahead and just give them a little shout out. Tell the moderators we appreciate them, and hit that thumbs up as well. Now, again, talking about this week, don't forget, we had so many new things, revelations coming up in the P. Diddy case. There's a lot of new shenanigans happening there. His apology, non-apology, apology. We got that. There's a lot of foolishness going on with the WNBA. Did y'all even know that was still a thing? The WNBA is having a lot of ups and downs, upheavals. Then, but shout out to the Independent Mail over there at the Independent Mail podcast. He is doing a lot of good work talking about the WNBA, because not a lot of people are talking about it, and he definitely sees that there's a lot of room to grow and to talk about some good things over there. So shout out to him. Don't forget, this past week we had Nathan Wade on the Joy Reid show over there disrespecting black men and misrepresenting black men like it's a sport, getting a gold medal in failing. And man, that was crazy. Let me see. How'd I forget? Trump stumping in the Bronx. I don't know if you saw that, but that was pretty wild. Now, I don't know how much traction it's going to get, but that was a big deal for a true Republican candidate to stump in the Bronx, and not just the Bronx, but the South Bronx. That was pretty wild. So that was a lot of stuff going on this week. And if you don't mind, if y'all could check on AOC, because I'm pretty sure she's not doing too well right now. So check on AOC. Tell her we're concerned about her. Tell her, baby girl, we're concerned about you. We are. Um, oh, how'd I forget? Joe Biden went to Morehouse last week. It's only been a week. It's only been a week. I'm not gonna. I've been healed from my disdain of Joe Biden speaking at my alma mater. So we're okay. So I'll take all the, Dr. Brother Biden jokes. I'll take all those. Shout out to y'all. Anyway, I mean, the last 7 to 8 days have been completely wild. I'm just surprised how much stuff, and that's not even all of it, because we're not talking about the Trump trial. We didn't say anything about YSL. There's so many different things going on. This is just, as I like to say, checking the traps. This is just what's in my traps. So there's some more stuff as well. I'm already going to put transplanted Texan in timeout. He says, President, Dr. Alumnus Joe with a raisin potato salad. I thought I thought I could handle it, but I can't. I can't. We gotta put transplanted Texan in timeout, y'all. Put him in timeout. Oh, by the way, just in case you don't know who I am, I'm Dear World Christian. Thank you so much. Somebody told me they don't like when I start the show without my hat on. I gotta take care of the people, man. I gotta take care of the people. Speaking of taking care of the people, y'all, my good friend Pastor Jacob is in the building. Good to see you, Pastor Jacob. Now, Pastor Jacob is another content creator. I really appreciate him. He's a pastor, and he does a fantastic job of leading his flock, but he also does a great job of putting out good content. So I wonder if I could get the moderators to drop Jacob's Jacob's podcast, The Wholehearted Christian, into the chat so people can check out what he's doing over there. I really believe you'll enjoy it, and a great guy to fellowship with and great guy to support. So shout out to you. Thank you very much for stopping by, Pastor Jacob. Good to see you, sir. Good to see you. Good to see you. Now, as I was saying before, this week has been pretty wild, and I wanted to focus in on one thing that I found was I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot, which was part of Amanda Timpson's testimony before the Georgia Committee on Judicial, whatever, Finance Committee, whatever. Her attorney. I think most of us enjoyed Mario Williams. And when we were watching it, I was yelling, I wanted Mario to cook. Let Mario cook, right? And so I wanted that night, on Thursday evening, Mario Williams was on Judge Joe Brown's show. And go figure. And it was a really good episode. So what I'm going to do tonight, instead of repackaging everything that we've done this week, we're going to look at this interview rather, that Mario did with Dana and Judge Joe on the Judge Joe show. I really think you're going to get a lot out of it. I think you're going to find it beneficial and gives you just, again, some more nuance. It gives you a little bit more understanding of who he is and why he is in this role and position. Because he's not just some attorney she just found in the phone book. He actually has a lot of skills that he brings to the mix that I think you'll enjoy. So we're going to look at him, and we might unpack a couple other things, but I do want to take time to do that on this evening. And I do want to thank, is this my sister Ray? Thank you so much, God's fancy girl. Oh, no. Get them green lady style shirts for me. Okay, I don't know why. So on my T Republic store, for whatever reason, I do apologize. I don't know why. That shirt that you want, they don't have it in women's cut, but they have the other ones in different style. I don't know what the deal is, and I wasn't able to get in touch with customer service to ask them, is that just a hiccup, or is there something wrong? Is there a glitch? Does it truly? Why do you have that particular slogan? I think it's Atlanta must be stopped in black, but when Atlanta must be stopped in white, you don't have the green woman shirt. I don't know. I'm going to get into it. I will get into it, but I want to thank you for the super chat because you're helping me out with my Rico Defense Fund. Thank you so much. I'm going to get you the green woman shirt. We're going to get you the green woman shirt in the store. I promise we will. We're going to get it there. All right. I promise you. So thank you all so much to everybody who supported the channel. Thank you so much for everybody that's not only become members, but those subscribers, but those who become members. Thank you so much for clicking on the join button. It means a lot to me. So I really do appreciate it. All right. So I think what we need to do, I think with no further ado, I think what we need to do is
Welcome back to Season 3 of As the Peach Rots. In this engrossing third season, we marinate the fetor of Georgia's political elite in the tangy vinegar of accountability. In a state where the odor of mendacity lingers in the air, our intrepid team of chatroom investigators is on a mission to peel back the layers of deceit and uncover the truth. From backroom deals to embezzlement scandals, no stone is left unturned in our pursuit of justice. But as tensions rise and alliances shift, who can be trusted in the Peach State? Join us for a season ripe with drama, where even the fruit isn't safe from corruption, because sometimes the juiciest scandals are right under your nose.
She's done some things that I say, okay, but that shows some courage, right? But show the courage to be honest.
So I want to bring up the guest, Attorney Mario Williams.
Hey, how you doing?
Hi, Mr. Williams.
Williams.
Williams. Never mind my accent. So good. So today was the Georgia Senate hearing, and yes, you represent L.A. Pink, but you also represent Amanda Timpson, correct?
All right. So before we get too far afield, I think we know all the players on the field here. In the top, we got Mario Williams, of course, Judge Brown, and Dana. She does a great job of hosting the show. Shout out to Dana, the Real Dana Network. She does a great job. Now maybe we can have her on the show. That'd be great. All right, so let's go. We're going to hear a little bit more and kind of get a little bit of background, if you will, on who Mario is. I'm trying my best not to stop a whole lot, but y'all know how I do. So let's get at it. Let's go.
That's right.
She is a former employee of Fannie Willis DA office. Mm-hmm. And today she testified. That's what can I say?
He testified in the special Senate investigation. They held a hearing, I guess, not necessarily a hearing, but just to hear live testimony and take some evidence on the situation. And so she presented herself there to speak to the committee. There were Republican and Democrats there, senators, and they asked questions to her about the situation of her lawsuit, which is a whistleblower case against Fannie Willis.
Okay. So before we get into that, just introduce yourself and tell us who you are. You are an attorney, but what kind of attorney?
My name is Mario Williams. I'm a constitutional rights attorney. I have a law firm called Humanity, Dignity, and Rights, HDR LLC. I was also an elected official here in Georgia. I was a city councilman for the city of Clarkston. I practiced overseas for a while, filing petitions against countries with the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights. I did that for about 10 years. So I've done opponent research. In fact, so a lot of the senators and stuff I know just from working with them on opponent research, all the way from the city level, Kasim Reed, Senator Ford, former Senator Ford, former Senator Hardy Davis. So I just kind of been around this arena, and I lived abroad for about 10 years. I did Peace Corps in Central America, and then I lived and practiced human rights law in South America.
So today was the Senate Special Committee on Investigations is holding its fourth meeting to hear testimony as part of its probe into the possible misconduct of the Fulton County District Attorney Fannie Willis. Now, she won the primary this past Tuesday. She did a victory speech as if she actually won the real election that's coming up in November. Mm-hmm. But she has a lot of legal issues coming her way, and this is one of them. But you represent Amanda Timpson and L.A. Pink, who we had on the show several times. But please speak to your client and today's hearing.
So Amanda Timpson, she was actually with the Paul Howard administration. And then when DA Willis defeated Paul Howard, she held a 8-9 panel interview process in which Amanda interviewed because her job was eliminated in the previous administration, and she was selected. Mr. Wade that's been in the news a lot was on that panel. It was Fonnie and then 7 other people. So she was put in as director of gang prevention. And, you know, she went through her process of working there. She started seeing some irregularities and saying, hey, look, this is a problem, to her immediate supervisor, a guy by the name of Mr. Cuffey. And she escalated it to Miss Willis, DA Willis. She got demoted. She continued to talk about certain issues, and then she got terminated. This lawsuit was actually filed almost 3 years ago. Because I do understand how things work, and I do know a lot of people around the city. I actually sent the lawsuit, and all the commissioners, Fulton County commissioners, knew about the lawsuit. Nothing came about it. Now, because of the whole issue with Trump and people politicizing everything, and suddenly this lawsuit popped up on everybody's map, you know, the commissioners, everybody. But the lawsuit has been outstanding for a while. I'm
going to stop for a hot second. This is the exact same thing that happened with what's going on here in Georgia, the oversight committee watching over DAs. It's not because of Fonnie. It's not because she's a black woman, a strong black queen. It's because it's been held up in committee for almost as long as this, because it's been several years. So I just want to point that out, because you hear a lot of people kind of pretend like, oh, they only did this because of Fonnie. No, that's not the truth at all. It came through under Fonnie, but it had been in the works a long time.
Discovery phase. And so the committee really asked for particular facts that demonstrate whistleblower and retaliation. So we gave them to them, and it'll take me nothing but 2 minutes to tell you. She starts complaining, saying, hey, look, you're trying to buy computers and you're trying to buy all this stuff, swag materials, pens, all that. But the OJDP grant, juvenile diversion grant, has a zero, line item 0 on equipment. You can't do it. So she kept saying, look, you can't do it. Her immediate supervisor was getting upset. She thought Bonnie didn't understand what was going on. So she calls herself trying to report this to DA Willis to say, hey, look, this guy's going to put your administration in problems. Like, what's going on? So she actually tried to sit down with her and eventually got frustrated and wrote a text message that said to Fonnie's chief of staff and said, hey, look, at this point, I have all kind of lawsuits against y'all for the way I'm being treated and just retaliation. So she got a meeting on that day. So that text message was around 11 o'clock in the morning, got a meeting on that day at 3 o'clock, 2 to 3 minutes. And she was immediately demoted and went from director to file clerk in the records restriction division. So
that
then,
sounds like retaliation.
Exactly. See that, and see this is the problem.
Let me ask you a question here.
Sure.
Since it's come up, is this the same $500,000 that the Senate committee is wanting to question Ms. Willis about? That's supposed to have been for juvenile crime prevention, that sort of thing. That's tied in with that $2 million for the sex crimes a setup that seems to have disappeared someplace.
But this is for the $488,000 and for the programming to a center that was donated, and everyone's trying to figure out what happened to the programming on that side. And then the other issue is what I'm about to tell you about. So when she got demoted, she also, previous to talking about the $488,000, trying to use money for trips and swag materials, things that, because you have to remember, Ms. Timpson actually wrote the grant. She was a co-author of the grant. She knows it very well. There's what you call a junior DA program. The junior DA program brings in, and it literally says on the webpage, attending school must attend from Fulton County, must be Atlanta Public School student. Well, she said, hey, look, I know for a fact some of these kids that are participating in this program, they're not just not from Fulton County or Atlanta Public Schools, they're from a different state. Wisconsin, Florida, ends up being friends and family of people who are in Fonnie, who she referred to, according to Amanda, as her niece, but says it was just, that's how she treated her. But so she says, hey, look, you can't spend this money this way. It's on the webpage. It's in all the materials. Must be attending Fulton County, Atlanta Public Schools. It's a grant that was given down to Fulton County. So for that, she went in November, had another meeting with DA Willis. And then this is the key. She goes in and tells her about it. They have an investigative branch in Fulton County called the Office of Diversity, Civil Rights, and Compliance. They say, well, you know, DA Willis says you never disclose anything, because the big thing in whistleblower cases, as your honor knows, you got to disclose it. You have to have told somebody about it. And so Amanda, having been smart about this, she said, well, that's interesting that she would say I didn't disclose it to her because I recorded it. So here's the recording. So then fast forward about 4:30, she has a meeting with the DCRC director, right? But prior to this meeting, just a couple of hours, she had another meeting with one of Fonnie's main top, I think she's an ADA. And then she goes into the meeting with the DRC director, and get this, 20 minutes after, less than 30 minutes after she gets done with the director of the Diversity Council, Compliance Council, Fonnie terminates her. Yes, we have discoveries ongoing. We're definitely looking for a lot of information, but I think, yeah, definitely. I appreciate that, Your Honor. And we are trying to get as much information as possible. I think one of the biggest things that came out of this hearing, and the only reason why Ms. Timpson showed up to the hearing, is because a lot of false statements were being made about her character. For example, they were saying, hey, well, this is just a disgruntled holdover employee. She's not a holdover employee. She was selected by a non-member panel. Okay. She has 24 letters of recommendation that we've already turned over, some of current employees in Fonnie Willis's department. She had 0 disciplinary track record before any of this started. And these were facts that the committee needed to hear, because Amanda just got tired of her name being done. She had applied to 1,000 jobs just to try to get back on track. And DA Willis, I saw an email saying, well, I really didn't demote you because I didn't change your salary. You went from being a director of a program to a file clerk. You knocked her off her career path. That's retaliation. You're trying to destroy something that somebody worked a good portion of their life to build towards. And then you want to say, I really didn't do much to you because I didn't change your salary.
And this is from the person that's on the pulpits. That's right. Preaching about sister girl getting retaliated against because of white supremacy. And from what Miss Dana and
I'm going to stop real quick because I see a question. I'm not going to stop much to answer questions, but yes, Nathan was on the committee. Here it is right here. Nathan was on the committee that Amanda interviewed on to be rehired for her position and role. So he was already in the mix. So yeah, and she talked about that during a committee hearing as well. Okay.
Have been discovering, since we've been doing some behind the scenes work up in Fulton County, is that this whole sister girl thing is a bunch of tripe that covers just what looks to me, in my 50 years of doing this, like rank criminality. It's like she should have taken the Fifth Amendment, or should have kept her behind off of the stand, instead of walking in there hand on doing snake dance with her head and neck when she came in that hot pink red dress and started testifying.
Tell us how you really feel, Judge.
Looks to me like she incriminated herself pretty thoroughly, and this is just part of the big picture that needs to be painted for the public.
This is what I'll say, and I said this after they asked a question to Amanda, but I took the liberty to answer it. The media did after the hearing, and they said, "Well, Miss Timpson, what do you say to people who say that you're being used as a pawn?" And then this is my response. I said, look, there's a couple of things that you can't do. So you make the poor decision about the Mr. Wade scenario. That was your decision. That was a poor decision. Even if we don't believe there was a conflict, it was still a poor decision. It was a poor nepotism, basically. You're giving a high value dollar contract to somebody that you're in a relationship and that you denied being in a relationship before and then had to admit it. That's a poor decision that opened you up to a political arena that you understand how things go. Then you mistreat and engage in what I consider very unlawful conduct with Amanda Timpson. Now you want everybody to wipe your poor decision-making away, wipe your unlawful conduct away, because you're going to trot out race and you're going to trot out, oh, you're just a pawn for the Republican Party, without taking any accountability for the wrong you've done, for the mistakes you made. And so what you should have done, see, this wouldn't even be an issue for any party. Had you taken accountability when you did it? Hey, I made a mistake. I got beside myself. I don't know what I was thinking. Let's resolve this, get this case out of the way and move forward. But you let it linger around, and now it's become an issue. I think
she campaigned against her predecessor, saying she was going to end this sexual misconduct in the DA's office. And from what I've seen of the billings that she approved, no one was over her to say yay or nay on what she approved for Wade, which last count was about $720,000. It looked like a scam to me, where a public official hired somebody that they could pay a great sum of money and then split the money with that person through kickbacks and do a lot of cash exchanges so that there would be no trail. Next thing that goes on is, from what we've been looking at, there's a lot.
Well, I can tell you something interesting about, I'm going to end the sexual predator stuff of the former administration with the former DA. I'm the person who sued that guy. So Paul Howard, I'm the lawyer who has sued Paul Howard 3 times for sex discrimination. And we have two cases resolved and 1 case pending against him. I'm the one who filed, and I filed those lawsuits during the DA district race between Fonnie and Paul.
This kind of thing stretches far and wide. See, this is complicity in a system. Remember, we're talking about an accusation that somebody who's likely to be the next president of the United States is supposed to be indicted, along with now remaining 17 separate defendants, for trying to interfere with an election down in Georgia. And now that whole thing that nationally is part of the big case. So
Well,
Biden can have a chance to get Kamala Harris in place. That's going down the tube. So there are a lot of people that are against this, you and your client, because you can derail all of this, counselor. You have it in your hands. And interestingly enough, though, this narcissistic arrogance that I see with Fani Willis, that is typical of the people who are con artists. They don't think they can be caught. I've seen this before. I've even had a lot of them psychologically analyzed before sentencing, and she fits the profile. Something's wrong with this woman. And she's trying to scapegoat your client because your client is trying to deal with justice. And I think somebody's going to get to the bottom of this.
I want to ask you, you're representing L.A. Pink, and you're representing Representative Misa Maynard.
Here, before he gets too far, I do want to, just so you know, Judge Joe Brown on the original video, his phone or whatever he was using, his internet was super wonky and it kept cutting out. So if you notice Judge Joe Brown keeps freezing and he doesn't talk a whole lot during this, it's because I cut it out because it kept freezing. They were having a lot of problems, a lot of technical issues with his connection. Dana's and Mario's was spot on, but Judge Joe Brown's was struggle bussing. So that's why he's cut out quite a bit. I appreciate, man, there's 54 of y'all watching this. Thank you very much. I mean, 54 that have liked the video that are watching it. Thank you very much. There's almost 140 of y'all that are watching. Thank you all so much. Let's get back to the video. Let's go.
Yeah, Rep. Maynard. Yeah, I wasn't the person who originally filed the case for Rep. Maynard against Willis. So they came to me. I looked at the case. I spent a lot of time with Rep. Maynard trying to figure out exactly what's going on, what's viable, statute, and all these legal issues. And we're going to file another claim, make a complaint here soon.
Mm-hmm. And can you talk about the situation with L.A. Pink, because she has her situation with Sheriff LaButte. He just won to be sheriff.
He won the primary, so he has to still go through an election process too.
Right. So speak to the situation with L.A. Pink, because she's been on the show several times. Because it just highlights the regulation and corruption that is going on in Fulton County.
Yeah, so what L.A. Pink did, she came to me and told me the situation. She said that, she had been peacefully protesting, not engaging in anything. One day she found out that Sheriff LaButte, nobody told her about this. Sheriff LaBatt, she calls her that, but I'm going to call her by his name, LaBatt. So she told me that Sheriff LaBatt had gone and got a temporary protective order taken out on her, and that she had a hearing to show up in a couple of weeks to see if they were going to extend it. And she went to the media. This is before she came to me. She went to the media. He dismissed it because she said, Mario, this stuff is lies. Like he literally is saying and making it seem as if he talked to me and asked me to stop doing something, and that I continue to, quote unquote, tag him and his wife on social media daily. I was very critical. I said, hey, show me that you didn't do that at all in any way, even though I already know she has a right to do First Amendment. So she showed me it just didn't happen. She said, no, this didn't happen. I even have a text from his wife that told him not to try to go take the TPO out. So I happen to be the lawyer who years ago reestablished the law in Georgia that a private citizen can actually seek an arrest warrant hearing against a police officer, but you have to take additional safeguards to do it, but it can be done. So I said, well, hey, look, and this is how I tell everybody to look at this. Every year in Georgia and across this country, but let's just talk about Georgia, at least thousands of people are prosecuted or threatened with prosecution for falsifying documents, government documents. And all you got to think is welfare applications. If you make a false statement in a welfare application, if you make a false statement in any benefit program that you're applying for, you'd be subjected to jail time. And I know because people have come to me for this. So I said, hey, look, really what you can do is two things. You can have a civil case against Labatt, and that's about money. But if you really want to hold him accountable and teach him a lesson, you can apply for this warrant hearing because he did two things. He made a false statement, according to you, on a government document, and then he filed it with a government agency, a courthouse. So she applied, because I know the law in this area very well, because I'm the one that went up to the Georgia Court of Appeals. She applied for the warrant hearing and they processed it. She's just waiting for the date to have a hearing against him.
Well, you know what? I read that application let me say this. I looked at that application and it was for domestic violence. And what he is alleging in there very awkwardly is that she won't stop accusing him, which is certainly not violence. It's an abusive process. It's wrongful process. And it violates her federal rights to be free in the exercise of her civil rights. And it also seems to be, and I'm not going there because I never practiced law in Georgia, looks to be violating Georgia code. So yeah, it seems Labatt, using her terms, and Miss Fanny want to be playing fast and loose with the law. And I'm looking at malicious prosecution, violation of civil rights, money laundering, IRS problems, all sorts of things, false statements to federal officials, and the list gets longer and longer. And then she, being a constitutional officer answerable to nobody, is whining about white supremacy trying to hold her down. She went and grabbed the tiger by the tail, and it looks like she's got a lot of weaknesses. So your client looks like another one of these multiple victims who happen to be invariably black folk who are getting jacked up in Fulton County. And we interviewed the only defendant that got locked up in this 17 defendant case involving President Trump. And that is the only black man who wound up getting held in jail. So what is this with Sister Girl talking about she's getting abused by white folk and seems to be the one abusing more black folk?
Well, see, this is what I tried to get to when I made the statement. You know, you can feel whatever way you want about all race issues, whatever. But the first thing you have to do as a public official when you actually abuse your authority is to take accountability for it. You got to take the accountability. You can't mask that by trying to play. It's really insulting to everybody. Right. And it's very insulting to African Americans because anybody thinking about it is like, okay, wait a minute. But if this, you did make the decision to put Nathan Wade in that position and pay him that money. That was a decision you made. And then so you gave who you claim is a racist and all, you gave this person ammunition to fire at you. You abused your rights, Amanda's rights. She didn't, you're the one making these false statements, in my opinion, completely false statements about her character. You did that. You can't then try to negate all that by saying, oh, but you're a pawn in a political game, which you're in the political game trying to play political games. So, you know, it's just like, hey, let's get back to the reality of it.
Well, let's get to another reality. Correct me if I'm wrong, but there are some white people that live in Fulton County, aren't there?
Oh, yeah.
Now, if you were a defense lawyer for a white defendant in Fulton County, wouldn't you be able to holler about the person can't get a fair trial because of the obvious racial bias of the elected district attorney?
Well, this is what I have done. I have represented blacks and whites against APD on a racial policy that discriminated against everybody. This is how.
Hold on, before he gets to this policy, because I dropped a short earlier today about this policy, and somebody told me that I was lying, that it didn't exist. So I want you to hear this policy that was going on in Atlanta Public, or APD, please forgive me, APD, and it's crazy. And even Judge Joe Brown it even made Judge Joe Brown scratch his head like, how y'all getting away with that? It's crazy. But I'm going to go over the case because somebody said that Mario was lying. Somebody said Mario was not telling the truth. And so I did find the case, and Mario is 100% correct. And matter of fact, his name and his picture is all over this thing. So we're going to look at it because I don't want to, hey, I don't know Mario. Hopefully he'll come on the show, but I don't want to besmirch the man because I think he did a great job. But let's listen to this.
Crazy Fulton is. They have APD, Atlanta Police Department, was split up into 6 zones, right? And then you had lieutenant, captain, and major. At the captain and major position, you could only be considered, listen to what I'm telling you, you can only be considered for those positions if you match the race of the outgoing officer. So if you were a black lieutenant who wanted a captain spot that was held by a white captain, you couldn't even be considered, only white people. And vice versa. If you were a white lieutenant who wanted a spot that was held by a black captain, you couldn't even be considered. This was going on up until 2016. 2016.
Well, almost 50 years ago. Almost 50 years ago, I worked for EEOC, and I know you can't do that. So how are they getting away with it?
Well, we ended up suing. Now we're at the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals on a whole bunch of other stuff. So it's just Fulton County has some real issues, man, some real issues. And one of the biggest, and I even told the committee today, I said, hey, look, if you ask me what the problem is, you have a Fulton County Office of Diversity Civil Rights Compliance Division, DCRC. They're supposed to investigate things like whistleblowing, right? Now, Amanda comes to you and says, hey, on the date that I sent a text message that told them that I'm going to sue them if I get demoted, on the date that I meet with DCRC director and actually talk about this, I get fired. But somehow none of this is documented properly. The investigation was a complete sham, in my opinion. And I said, if you really want to get proper oversight, especially in the whistleblower area, if someone makes a complaint about whistleblowing to the DCRC, the only way you can watch over them is that complaint has to instantly go out to the GBI and different regulatory agencies in order to have 3-4
GBI, Georgia Bureau of Investigation.
Yeah, yes,
I didn't mean to talk over you, but people.
No, that's okay. GBI,
everybody listens.
Because if not, with the DCRC in Fulton County has shown me through my experience is that if you go to them, that's like a black hole. The complaint's just going to disappear. So Amanda brought all these facts, and Judge Brown knows this. The timing means everything. When you get terminated 30 minutes after you go to the compliance division and complain, that is unmistakably.
I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm laughing because it makes it so obvious.
That's crazy. When you get demoted,
counselor, from the mental health evaluations I had required be conducted when I had a con artist who I was going to sentence, there is a narcissistic arrogance here that says to the person, I can't be caught because I'm too important.
You hit it
and
right
that's what we're seeing with Miss Fanny here.
Judge Brown, I said to the committee, and it's on a link. I said, imagine the level of arrogance, the level of hubris that you have to have for somebody to walk out of a meeting with a director complaining about you, and you literally perp walk them with 7 security guards and terminate them with no reason other than your employment at will. Imagine the level of arrogance you have to do that.
And then you're supposed to be the chief investigative officer for Fulton County. And this is an allegation that something is a little bit smelly there. And instead of investigating it, you go fire the person that reports to you. That's classical retaliation against somebody.
I mean, this is crazy. It's absolutely.
Look, obviously this woman skated through law school because it's just impossible for somebody to have finished up the first year of law school and not know better than this. I'm astonished.
Maybe she do know better.
McGaffey was not. I would have hauled her ass up in front of me, said, we're going back to chambers. Everybody, we'll be back. Madam Court Reporter shut up, and I'd have chewed.
So
I would have unloaded on somebody that came into my court and acted like that. I think Judge McGaffey acted with great restraint, but this is just that kind of arrogance. Like, who do you think you are? And aren't you supposed to be an officer of the courts? and you are testifying in a fashion that incriminates yourself and all kinds of wrongdoing and discrimination against these people that look like you, and you're claiming that because you look like them, you're getting a raw deal because somebody is finding out what you have been, as you say, having the hubris to disguise that you're doing to your own people. This is just extraordinary. I've seldom seen anything like this.
It's just, I'm telling you, it's a level of arrogance that just demonstrates, hey, I don't care. You can't do anything to me. So it doesn't matter. I'm not concerned about timing. I'm not concerned about you just leaving the office of the compliance division. It doesn't matter to me. I'm going to fire you. I'm going to have these investigators, walk you out like you threatened to bomb the place or something. I mean, Amanda's like 5'3", $120 or something. I mean, it's just crazy. And so the good thing about the hearing today is it was the first time Amanda was able to voice her story truthfully. And if anybody watches that hearing, they're going to say, hey, this lady is being straight up. She's a professional woman. She's articulate and she knows what happened to her and she has the proof.
Now, is she suing is she suing for back pay or anything, or any type of compensation?
With the whistleblower, well, the whistleblower lawsuit comes with that, is, front pay, back pay, wage violation, stuff like that. Obviously, she doesn't want her job back. She can't do that with injunctive relief. But she definitely is suing for all compensatory and punitive damages that she can. It's hard. Punitive damage is actually very hard to get because it's a government agency. So, but she's definitely the compensatory she's going for.
So let me ask you something. Is Miss Fanny still talking about she's not going to respond to the subpoena before the state legislative body?
She claims that the law, they have no jurisdiction over her. But, I learned something interesting today, and I'm going to look into it. I had put an open records request with the DA's office, and they just blew it off. And I was just like, hey, I'm in active litigation. I really don't feel like starting up more litigation about an open records request when I have subpoena power. But I found out today that she's being sued by the Open Records Division, and it was implied. I can't say that it was for sure said, but it was implied that her defense was that a public agency, the Fulton County District Attorney's Office, is exempt from open records. And I was like, I have to look at that, but that doesn't seem lawful to me. I mean, that's the whole point of the Georgia Open Records Act, is that you can get you can't get all documents. There's a whole chapter on exemptions, but to exempt an entire agency, because if that is
but the exemptions, I looked into that too. I'm not giving legal advice on this, but the exemptions seem to be when there's a problem with safety, with law enforcement informants and ongoing investigations in the public interest, not to protect against purported wrongdoing by the agency itself. Next thing, if I can give you a clue, you might look into this. The agency in question, the state legislative body, provides funding for the Fulton County District Attorney's Office, and they are entitled to check on the expenses that are being submitted to them and the expenditures of funds that have been specifically appropriated to that office. So they're entitled to conduct investigation. And the other thing I would submit, that there is an exception to that. When it becomes the legislative body, they can always keep it behind closed doors, so to speak, and keep it confidential, but they're certainly entitled to it.
Mm-hmm. Y'all know
I know the legislative body needs to go through a court and subpoena her in. Somebody, the taxpayers have a right to get an explanation as to how their money is getting spent.
So I'm going to ask you, what's next?
So I think there's another committee hearing sometime in late June. I'm not sure exactly what the subject matter is going to be. I know for Amanda, we're trying to finish out the case. We're in discovery. We're asking for documents. Probably have to get in front of the judge a couple of times. It depends. The lawyer, I've worked a long time with the lawyer who represents Fannie. So I haven't had really any problems on that level as far as with her, but we're getting documents and trying to finish out the case. But I just want to say this to anybody that's watching this: watch that Senate hearing, because Amanda Timpson is an extraordinarily knowledgeable person. She's professional and she's being honest, and she articulated that honesty very well. Because, one of the problems in law is a lot of times you have the truth on your side, but it's the manner in which you can articulate the truth that kind of can sway the day. Watch that hearing.
Yeah. A lot of people, and I see people in the chat, have watched it, and it was like, yeah, she was a great witness. She was very credible. So also on a federal level here, Fannie Willis has to answer to a congressional committee by May 29th. She has to submit a list of, where did the federal funding go to for the game
Heard
unit?
about this.
Yeah. And I don't know what happened. Oh, there he goes. And the sexual assault programs. So she has to submit to them a list of how, she allocated that money. Is Georgia asking for the same thing, or they're just talking specifically to,
I would assume that this special investigation committee probably is asking for similar, if not the same stuff, or maybe more. But I haven't had any access to the actual subpoenas and different things like that. So I'd be speaking out of turn if I said I knew exactly what they're looking for. But it makes sense that there's going to be probably some overlap, not as far as coordination, but people thinking the same way, like, hey, let's get this, let's see what these funds were going, because the whole issue is oversight. What kind of oversight and reporting? And I said that today. I said, look, the statutory code for DAs in Georgia actually has some non-discretionary duties. And if you violate them, you could be subject to a lawsuit just in the capacity of a regular lawyer. That's an argument to be made for that. But the issue is how can you get better
Frankly, federal and state law, Miss Fanny might get a conviction. Considering her lack of conviction, she might not get any jail time, but she might get a suspended sentence, at least on the state level. On the federal level, she's already got herself in hot water with IRS and some of the statements she seems to have made in making a false statement or false statements to federal agencies or federal officials, again, dealing with the IRS. And now the U.S. Senate wants her, the House rather, seem to want her to answer to expenditures or non-expenditures or diversion of certain federal funds that went to her office. So,
Paul Howard is the former DA before Fonnie beat him. And Paul got mired up in some GBI investigations, misappropriation, stuff like that. I don't really know the end of the outcome, but you just gotta be careful when you take these positions. You cannot pay fast and loose with this money, especially federal money, because it's so accounted for. Like you have to account for everything. Like I don't think a lot of people who are not familiar with these grant programs, it can get real sticky quick if you just call yourself doing a little bit over here and a little bit, and then it's like, okay, this is a problem. You got to be real careful with these grants. And like I said, when you have a program that says attending school must be Fulton County, must be Atlanta Public Schools, and then you start bringing kids in from out of state, that's just something, at the end of the day, it could be an easy mistake to make because you're trying to do a solid for a friend. But at the end of the day, you got to always remember this is publicly accountable money. So if somebody just does an open records request and says, I just want to see where all these kids are from. And this moment, one of them is not from Fulton County, never mind, not from Georgia, not from Fulton County, could have been from DeKalb, and then you got an issue unnecessarily.
So anything else you want the people to know?
My thing is for my client. Mm-hmm. And Amanda Timpson is a great person. I think she's a very hard worker. She comes from a very difficult and complicated background, has worked really hard. But I don't like this stuff about you're being a pawn but because this has to do, this case has been around for 3 years. Nobody took accountability. Everybody knew, and I like some of the commissioners and stuff for Fulton County, but they all knew about it. And now suddenly, because it does not favor them politically, that this case is being put out there in the public, suddenly, oh man, you're just siding up with the wrong people and you're trying to bring down a great person. No, the great person we're talking about. And hey, look, Fonnie Willis indicted a couple of officers that even the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals said, hey, look, this is a real problem, what you all did to this mental health kid, shooting 100 times and then a flashbang being thrown on him. She's done some things that I say, okay, but that shows some courage, right? But show the courage to be honest. Right. Show the courage to hold yourself accountable for the wrong you did and just move on. Don't get out here throwing around this is race, this is about race, and this is it, when what you did was wrong.
Yeah, how about you just do your job?
What you did was unlawful.
Yes.
And then instead of trying to settle it up, you getting all huffy puffy saying, well, I'm the district attorney, I'm gonna fight this, instead of saying, hey, you know what, that might not have been the best choice I did with Wade and putting him in that position, given the situation with us being romantically involved. But you know what, I still think that the focus should be on XYZ, but you won't even take accountability for anything. And
And
that's a big issue if you're talking about public leadership, because that's when public trust, and I'm not trying to be preachy, but that's when you erode all public trust when somebody's just right in your face and you know they've done something wrong and they just act like they didn't, and they try to divide you based on issues of race.
right. And why do they keep bringing up Trump when Trump has nothing to do with the committee meeting that took place today? You know, Amanda Timpson, her testimony and what happened to her, that has nothing to do with Donald Trump. And it seemed like that's Fannie and her whole office and the Democrats, that's their one trick pony to convince the public, especially Black people, and they keep falling for it. I'm sorry, that it's Trump and he's the racist, and that's why I'm having all these problems. And that's just not the case. She's just abusing her position.
So, I'll end by saying that's my big thing. Have the courage to say, you know what? Hey, look, people make mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I would never get on this show and act like I'm perfect. But when you're in a position of authority and you're in a position of influence, especially a district attorney, because what people forget is you're the lead law enforcement officer for the entire county. And you got to take responsibility for the wrongs you've done.
You have to, but this is why a lot of people, regular people like myself, a civilian, especially Black men and Black boys, don't trust the prosecutor's office or the DA's office. They always look to them like they're the enemy anyway. But you are abusing your position. Your position. You're in a position of power. She doesn't answer to anyone. Hold on for 1 second, please. She doesn't answer to anyone, and there's stuff coming out about the county jail system, backlogs of cases. That's why she asked for millions of dollars from the federal government. I don't know if she probably got money from the state as well to prosecute those cases, but she put all that money towards the Trump case. So she's blaming Trump because she didn't really get a chance to.
But let me say something about that. Let me just say this about that. Having been in the political arena from a variety of aspects, small town Clarkson City Council, but I've done opponent research, all kind of stuff. Work with commercial people, making commercials, hit pieces, all kind of stuff. You're in the game of politics. So when you understand that, you understand how to maneuver in that arena. And so when you start, she's very aware of saying, hey, this is about race, because she knows a lot of African Americans believe that there's a race agenda and all this kind of stuff. So that's what makes it so dangerous, because you're playing on an emotion that really has nothing to do with the decision making that you're doing. It has nothing to do with the fact that you hired Wade. When I went on the brother's website, and I'm not trying to degrade him or anything, but he definitely on his website, I'm not saying he's not, on his website, he did not seem like the person that you're going to choose to prosecute a former ex-president.
Yeah.
So now that's not to put him down, but I'm just saying on his website, I thought he was an auto accident lawyer. So you did that. Mm-hmm. And then you're getting in the political arena, because what the truth is, you're politicizing the situation in order not to take accountability for the wrong you've done. Right. And you can't do that. And anybody who has half a brain and who is very familiar with politics understands exactly what you're doing. The unfortunate reality, though, is people vote on emotion. Fannie understands that. So she trouts that out. Like today, I couldn't believe the guy asked me, but I was glad he did. What do you think about people who say you're being used as a pawn? Man, a pawn? This is the case is only around here because you denying accountability. You're the public official. Right. You have all the authority to shut this down, and you refuse to do it out of arrogance.
That's it.
So so you're going to shift the blame on Amanda? Well, no, the blame's on you.
Right, and. I just think that for me, people would try to say, well, why are you talking down, about her, this Black woman? And that's the problem that I'm having when you have these Black people in these positions and they are abusing their position of power, but they're using race and racism and white supremacy and gender as an excuse.
Think about what's being asked of Amanda in a situation like that. Let's take what you just said. Mm-hmm. Hey, you're a Black woman, and there's a race going on, and Fannie's going after Trump. So first of all, you're setting all of Amanda. You don't even know Amanda's politics. She could be absolutely against Fonnie. Who knows? But let's just say, but you're a black woman bringing another. Okay, but aren't you, Fonnie? You're the black woman that brought Amanda, a black woman, down. You terminated her for no good reason. You terminated her unlawfully. So what you're really saying is, don't worry about how I abused you as a black woman. You're supposed to set all that aside because I'm the DA and I feel I have a position that's more impactful than your life.
Right.
And that's not fair to any black person in that position.
Exactly. And that's why I really do appreciate you coming on, because it hits different, especially to the public, when an attorney comes and speaks to, this situation. We've had, LA Pink, we have Representative Misha Mena come on here. But you know how in situations people don't want to believe the victim, but then if you have the attorney come on and vouch, like, no, these are the facts, and this is the law, and this is what was, this is what law was broken, or what violation took place. And that's very important, because I call myself a civilian outside of, people like you and a judge, because we don't know all these things. And a lot of people think that they don't have a voice, or, if being in there we could easily be taken advantage of. So I really do appreciate you taking on this case.
Anytime you want me to come on, I do a lot of cases. I got a lot of stuff going on, and anytime, like I said, I've put it down for, like I said, I lived in Latin America for 10 years. I've helped Latinos. I sued the United States government for dialysis care right here in Atlanta, Georgia. Got precautionary measures, and contacted the State Department to get their dialysis turned back on. I've done a lot of stuff for a lot of people of cross race and socioeconomic classes and all that stuff. And so that's why, it's offensive to just trot out the way it's being trotted out, because you could on one hand believe that something is racial, but at the same time, you got to say, but what does that really have to do with you doing this wrongdoing? Are you saying because if I believe that somebody's racist or whatever you're saying that he is, or Trump or anybody, what does that have to do with the fact that you violated the law?
Exactly.
So it's a game on words, but more importantly, it's a game on human emotion.
Right. Exactly. And then too, when her victory party, Nathan Wade was there. And for me, I look at it, you're just slapping people in the face with it,
It's a primary. I mean,
right. It's
has to win the race. And let me tell you about that. If you really, like I said, starting in 2010, when I moved back to the United States, I worked on the first Kasim campaign. I've done a lot of opponent research. Okay. And if you look at how these mayor races break down, it typically broke down on demographics. When you measure out the percentages, you could almost put them right next to the percentage of white and black, and you'd almost see a match on that. Now, what's going on in Atlanta is a huge with the quote unquote gentrification, but a lot of people are moving back into the city. The demographics are changing, and it's going to be very interesting depending on how these investigations go. If certain things get out there, it's going to be very interesting how this quote unquote Republican DA versus the Democratic DA Willis, how this really shakes out, because Paul Howard was a DA in this city for almost 30 years and he lost. So anybody can lose, and Fonnie beat him coming from a judgeship. So, you're always going to be happy when you win a primary, and that's her job, is to get out and look strong. But I know that she knows, hey, this can be a lot tighter than I ever imagined it to be. And so I really need to get everything in order.
Right. But because she was celebrating as if this was November. And I'm like, it's only a primary. You didn't really have an opponent. He was irrelevant. So, and now we have the Republican challenger, Courtney Kemp, I believe that's her name. And, I'm going to start speaking to her about her more often. But I just think that, Fannie Willis does have an uphill battle between now and November, because she has to answer to Congress. She has to answer to Georgia Senate. And she needs to answer to the constituents, her people, Fulton County. So, and I do know this, when people who vote in the primary, that's not the majority who votes in November.
Correct.
So.
Right. And the November race, depending on how all this shakes out, could just be a lot different as far as people's opinion. Because like this Amanda thing, she's gotten away a long time. And like I said, you know, I have to say the truth. I do respect some of the things that Fani's done as a DA. I do. But I don't, this right here, what she's did to Amanda, slandering her name, making it seem, making what I really consider statements that just don't have any evidence to support them about her character and all that. When you really terminated her on the day she was talking to the DC, all that stuff is ludicrous. Mm-hmm. And she just needs to, and the Rep Maynard situation is crazy. I got the details on that. Sheriff Labat, all this, you have to have responsible public officials. Right. You know, the whole idea of Fani getting in office was not to be like Paul. Right. And I can tell you right now, even though I respect Fani on some other stuff, what she did to Amanda was equal to, if not worse than the things I saw Howard do. Just a blatant, I don't even care what you think, I'm gonna fire you right now.
So is it when you have people in these positions, is it, what do you call it? It's the saying for that, business as usual. You know, you always say, I'm gonna be different, I'm gonna be the different one. But when you get in that position, it's like you have to follow, you know.
You know, people say, you know, the saying is, you know, don't take it personal, it's just business. Mm-hmm. You know what that's really saying, in my opinion? I have no ethical or moral compass. And if I need to win, I'm going to tell you, don't take this personal, because I'm about to do anything I can to you, regardless of ethics or morals, to beat you. Mm. When people say that to me, I say, hey, man, I got to be careful about the guy that's doing that, because that means don't take it. It is personal. You don't want Amanda to take it personal that you terminated her and try to throw her whole career out of line. Right. That doesn't even make sense.
I want to ask you, and then too, Fannie Willis DA office, they're doing the YSL RICO case. Have you been kind of following that?
I haven't. I don't know all the background. I've heard so many stories.
I don't pick your brain.
I don't even want to say anything about that, because some of this stuff is almost slanderous. You know what I mean? As far as what I've heard about her and this and who relationships and all this kind of stuff. So I don't even know. I haven't followed it enough, and I don't know enough.
Okay. All right. So how about I have you back on soon, maybe I guess in a couple of weeks, or anything breaking.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, she's gonna file Miss Laquana's gonna file her First Amendment case against Sheriff Labat next Monday.
LA Pink.
LA Pink. She's gonna file her case against next week. And then when we get the date for the actual criminal application warrant hearing against him, you'll definitely get that. And I can come on and talk about that and explain it a little bit more.
Yes. Thank you so much. I don't know what happened. I think he's probably, because the judge was not home. And I actually, you know, I'm probably going to end the show and then record the rest of the topics probably later on tonight. But I want to thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate
your time. I appreciate you.
Had a long day today.
Yeah, these hearings, you know, they're interesting, you know, but I vouch for Amanda.
Right.
I mean, you know, sometimes you get clients and you just like, they have some issues, imperfect. Mm-hmm. Nobody's perfect, but Amanda, I'll vouch for her. She's legit, and she got done dirty.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. And I'm glad that she have an attorney. You have the experience and you actually care.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I don't like this stuff. I mean, you know, I understand how this game works, and you can accept a lot, but you can't start trying to divert attention with all this emotional. It's really invidious, because it divides people in a way that has historical implications too, and a lot of hurtful things.
Mm-hmm. Yes, exactly. And, you know, when people are being taken advantage of, and, you know, that has to stop, you know, so, and Fannie Willis, listen, she's rubbing elbows with people in the White House. You know, she's connected, but at the same time, that does not give you the right to abuse your position or break the law. So, yeah, I just want to see her in handcuffs. I really do. And we on this channel, we are still smoking on a fanny pack. That's what I say. So we gonna until she resigns, until she's in handcuffs, until she loses this November election, whichever one comes first. So. But thank you, Attorney Mario Williams.
All right. So, wow, that was good. I am really happy I caught that. And I'm glad that we were able to check that out. So I saw tons of good comments in there. I'm definitely gonna give you an opportunity to give your feedback and on that kind of good stuff like that. I'm gonna drop the link in the chat in a moment. But shout out to Measured Man. Thank you so much for stopping by, dropping off the very gracious 10-piece right there. Thank you so much. Got to give me that Rico. Thank you so much, man. We have to support each other. Wrong is wrong. And I think the thing that I really liked about this interview is Mario made it very clear. And I think most of us understood it like mentally, but now we were able to articulate it like, you did wrong. You can't wipe away the wrong that you did by yelling racism. You can't wipe away the wrong that you did by yelling sexism. You can't do that. You have to be accountable for the wrong that you did and take responsibility. We haven't heard that yet from Fonnie Willis. And there's other people as well. But I think Mario made it really clear. That's exactly what a lot of us have been saying. Like, sure, this person could be wrong, but you can't violate the law, break the law in order to prove that that person is wrong. You can't do that. And then when you're called on the carpet, you definitely can't hide behind the shield of racism or sexism or whatever, fill the blank in. So, but yeah, I thought that was really good. Now, I do want to just bring up something very quickly, because somebody in the chat earlier today said that that Mario was lying, that there wasn't a law in Georgia that would allow, that would basically discrimination. So let's just look at it real quickly. I'm not going to be super duper long on here because I do want to drop the chat in here and let y'all come in and we can chop it up a little bit. Atlanta police officers asked court to suspend alleged race-based promotion. Well, what is race-based promotion, Jason? I'm glad you asked that. Let's look at this. A 27-year veteran of the Atlanta Police Department wants a federal judge to suspend a command staff promotion policy that he claims is governed by race. Listen to what it is. Wait till you hear. You see it in it. You see it in the second paragraph right there. Atlanta Attorney Mario Williams, shout out to Mario, moved Monday for a temporary restraining order on the behalf of Lieutenant Terry Joyner. The TRO, if gained temporary restraining order, if granted, would suspend what Williams' motion describes as white in, white out, and black in, black out policy that he claims the department adopted during the tenure of the former Chief Richard Pennington, and that has remained in place since 2002. Now, we can go back over the whole thing, but that's it. I mean, that is a true, I mean, I do remember this kind of like hearing it in my ear, but I never understood what it was. And you just kind of hear something walking by and whatnot. I remember hearing this, but I never understood it. So I never, put anything to it. But now I'm like, I remember this. All right, let's see. The TRO motion and companion complaint names the city and police chief Erica Shields as defendants. The case has been assigned to Chief Judge Thomas Thrash Jr. of the U.S. District Court of the Northern District of Georgia. And I have no idea where that is. But let's go. The promotion policy at issue allegedly requires the two-person supervisory teams in each of the city's 6 zones, including a white and a black commander, one a captain and one a major. When zone captains and majors are replaced, the police department allegedly requires that the vacant post be filled by a candidate of the same race the TRO motion contends. I mean, there we go. I think we see that Mario was telling the whole truth. And I'll drop this link in the chat because I don't want to go over the entire thing. But I'm going to drop the link in the chat. If you want to go read the rest of it, it is here as well. I'll try to put in the description as well before the night's over. What I want to do is, it looks like we had a good little turnout of folk. I appreciate all 106 of y'all, almost 110 of y'all that liked the video. Glad you all like it. Glad this type of content is something that you enjoy. What I want to do is drop the link down in the chat and we can talk about anything else that you have going on. I mean, like I said, this week had a lot of different things happening and a lot of things going on. So there's a lot of stuff to talk about. I do want to, if y'all don't mind, I wouldn't mind hearing what your thoughts were about Mario's interview with Judge Joe Brown, or maybe Amanda's testimony before the Senate. I'd love to hear what y'all think about it. All I ask is that drop the link. All I ask is that you have your camera on, that we keep the conversation about on task, if you will, and most importantly, you got to have a beverage of choice. So what I'm going to do very quickly is I'm going to go snag me a beverage of choice. So very quickly, I'm going to dip out and I'll be right back and we shall be ready. So feel free to hop on and I'll be right here. One moment. Ooh, what's going on, party people? I am back. I am back. I apologize about that. And I don't know if the link got populated. Did the link populate? Let's see. I don't know if it did or not. While I'm doing that, I might make Measured Man the stream sponsor for this episode, coming through with the super chat. Thank you so very much for that. Let's make you the stream sponsor, sir. All right. There we go. Got that right. Measured Men. Yes. Got it right. All right. Let's go. All right. One of the things I really liked about Mario Williams is I really felt like he was in Amanda Timpson's corner. Like you saw him the whole time. A lot of people were talking about that even during the hearing, how he was sitting there staring at her. He was watching her. He was very attentive. I don't know if that was a strategy to keep him, because I can imagine it would probably get kind of boring if you weren't participating in the conversation. You had to just sit there and watch it. So I liked it. I liked the fact that he was very involved. But then also I liked the fact that when Senator Harold Jones got out of pocket, Chef Mario was over there to cook, ready to cook in a second. He was ready. He had his apron on. He had his grilling tools. He was ready to grill and cook. So I thought that was really good. And then also a lot of the wisdom that he shared on this interview with Judge Joe Brown, I think we really can't overlook that. That was a lot of good stuff that he shared. And did this link go through? It did, you said, right? If you want to hop in, oh, there it is right there. No, that's not it. That's not the link. Let's double check this, Jason. I think you dropped the. I think I dropped the Yahoo link again. Yeah, I did. Well, I'm telling you, man, I'm doing making some rookie moves here today. Yeah, that was that was the Yahoo link twice. What do you know about that? But anyway, so I really enjoyed Mario. I thought he had some great insight. And at the end of the day, I also like the fact that he attempted to be fair to Fonnie Willis. He said there's some good things that she's done, and he wants to give her props, give her flowers, so to speak. I think that was fair, but he also made just a simple point, like, eat the accountability, like take responsibility for what you're doing that is wrong. Just admit it. Just go ahead and move it on, and don't sit there. Because can you imagine if Fonnie Willis had just admitted it earlier? There's so many instances, of course. We've talked about it on the show as well. Like, if you just, first of all, don't hire your sneaky link for a high profile job. Just don't do it. That's all you got to do. Sure, you can maybe pull some strings and get them a job somewhere else, but don't do it here. Don't do it. Just don't do it. That would have fixed a lot of her problems, though. Yeah, whatever happened to the buck stops here? I don't know. That's a great question. But if you want to jump onto the live stream, come on, we can definitely talk about it. I got some good things I'd love to hear. I would love to hear from y'all. And let me see. Yeah, I dropped that link so you can see the video, the story of Mario. That's for sure. I just thought that it was interesting. Somebody said that they didn't think it was true that Georgia. I think it's almost like ludicrous. You see it. Even Judge Joe Brown was like, "Wait, how y'all doing that in Georgia? How are y'all doing that?" I've actually heard of that. So when he said it, I was like, "Yo, I've heard of that." But it is interesting though, for sure. Yeah, I think this Amanda and Mario are well spoken, know this stuff, and come prepared. I'm just telling you right now, I want to see Fonnie Willis explain herself. I think that's what everybody needs. Everybody needs that. We want to see and want to hear Fonnie Willis explain herself. I think that would be everybody's, I don't say joy, but I think everybody would definitely want to hear that and see, like, can you explain these irregularities? Like, can you do that? I think that would be great. So prayerfully we'll get an opportunity. Hopefully it'll actually happen, because I think a lot of people want to see it and want to hear what she has to say and how she explains. Now, if nobody else is going to jump in, I have a small problem. All right, team, we got to get together here. We got to talk. I'm concerned, since we're talking about Fonnie, I'm concerned about her challenger, Courtney Kramer. Now, I know the other day, if you're new to the channel, I call myself a pre-K law student because I know nothing. I also call myself a ad hoc political strategist. I know nothing, okay? I'm just giving you ideas and throw them up against the wall, see what sticks. I'm concerned because I don't see Courtney Kramer on social media. Now, I understand she's on Twitter, and even in that, I don't see a lot of action, a lot of traction, a lot of posts, a lot of reposts, a lot of retweets. I don't see a lot of that. And I'm worried. I don't think this is not looking good. This is not looking good. Remember my phony political strategist, I said she needs to come out the gate on Wednesday morning and just go hard in the paint for the next 5 months. She just needs to go hard in the paint. I have not seen Courtney Kramer do an interview yet. I haven't seen a real serious interview. I saw that one interview that she did, which was fine, but I haven't seen one since then. And I'm worried. So has anybody seen a Courtney Kramer interview or Courtney Kramer ad piece that you're proud of? Because remember, we saw that Fonnie Willis ad piece that came out literally the day of the election. It was on Tuesday night, I think we watched it. I just don't, I'm worried. I don't want to say somebody's soft, but I'm not going to argue with you. I'm definitely not going to argue with you at all, Gino. E-Todd says, Dana really likes her. Hey, that's fine. I got no problem with it. But I need, you're trying to replace an incumbent, and I think you really have to take that into account. And it's going to be a presidential election, so we already know the numbers are going to be higher than a normal midterm election. We already know that. So that being the case, you need these people to know your name, because all they're going to see is Fonnie Willis, and they're going to see incumbent next door name. It's a wrap. They might not know who you are, and I worry that I have not seen her. I don't think Dana lives in Georgia. I think she's somewhere else. She definitely has a northern accent, and she says things like down in Georgia a lot. Most people in Georgia don't say down in Georgia or down in Atlanta. So that's why I don't think it, but I could be wrong. I'm worried, y'all. I'm worried as a pseudo. I just crown myself a political strategist. I'm worried. I don't see a lot of traction, and I'm worried that that's going to be a problem later on. I don't see a lot of. If you just do a Google search for Courtney Kramer, and you'll get one or two posts. But sadly, you'll see a lot more Fonnie Willis stuff attached to Courtney Kramer's name. That's terrible. So if they thought they could take the madam by just doing this, they really are not that bright. I agree. I mean, I don't think, in my opinion, my 2 cents, not mad at her or anything of that nature. Maybe she has a really well thought out, well ironed out plan. It's very possible. I'm just saying what I'm seeing at this current second, does not seem like a well thought out plan, because you have to, you got to stop the train to turn the train around. That's a lot of movement already. The train has got a lot of momentum already. And so, I just think, I just don't see it. I'm starting to worry. And I'm going to do a quick search real quick. Make sure I'm not going crazy. All right, I'm going to do it real quick. Okay, we're going to pull up Courtney Kramer. Yeah, see this. Yeah. Okay. This is what I'm talking about right here. All right. This is what I'm talking about. So I just put in Courtney Kramer. So you got this one ad right here that dropped on Tuesday. Okay. But notice the next thing under it is a Fonnie Willis pick. And then the next one under that is 2 months ago when you qualified to run against Fonnie Willis. And then under that is another Fonnie Willis. All right. Now this is something this is probably not even her, but this is from 9 years ago. I don't know if this is her, but again, this is 6 years ago. Like, where's the new stuff? This is 4 days ago. And they just put your picture on it. Yeah, like, again, I'm worried. Every picture I've seen of Courtney Kramer is still relatively old. And now, if you do the same search, now granted, again, if we do the same search, and I'm doing this only on YouTube. YouTube is the second largest search engine apart from Google, and Google owns both of them. All right. You just see her face everywhere, good, bad, or indifferent. I'm not saying that every image and every story about Fonnie Willis is good. I'm just saying you'll find her name a lot better, and you just see her all over the place. I'm just saying. And that's what I think was Christian's downfall, in my opinion. He just didn't get name recognition. He did not get his name out there. And to me, I'm worried. I'm worried. I don't know if Courtney is going to be able to right this ship and get it going in a different direction if she's not going to be bullish about getting her face out there on the social media, everywhere. I'm a fledgling political strategist, but I got a question for all the big brain political strategists that, they got the whiteboards and they're doing all that kind of stuff like that. Why do you not have your candidate just doing a live stream answering questions on her phone? Why don't you have them doing that? Why? What's stopping her from being able to do that? I'm just asking a question because Courtney Kramer could be doing it right now. We could be like, oh, I saw Courtney on doing a Twitter live or doing a Facebook live or doing a YouTube live. I saw her doing that. She was having a good conversation, answering questions. I'm just saying. And see, this is it. This is what's going on. This is the problem. The fact that Courtney Kramer hasn't contacted the Dear Transplanted Chameleon campaign consultants is very concerning. I mean, I'm just telling the truth. It's very concerning. I'm not trying to even be funny. I'm worried. I ain't gonna even lie. Because I was hopeful before Tuesday. I was hopeful on Tuesday. Now I'm sitting by the dock of the bay, watching the tide roll away. Yeah, I don't know what to do. And see, in my opinion, the age is actually an asset, especially in what she should be doing. I mean, she should be destroying, she should be crushing Fonnie on social media. This is all this girl has known. She's never known a day that there wasn't social media. She's born in what, 94? I mean, let's be honest. I mean, she was what, 5 at 9/11? I mean, yeah. I mean, she was raised in a social media world. Definitely high school, unequivocal high school. Why are we patty caking? Why are you not going hard in the paint where they can't do it? Again, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I don't understand how it works. To the big brain, GOP and political strategists, why is it that you don't use the free platform that you can just converse and connect with your people? Why? And here's another question. Why are you required to do exactly what your competitor does? So if your competitor does TV ads, why do you have to do TV ads? I'm just wondering. If your competitor does a billboard, why do you have to do a billboard? Are you required to do exact same thing Fonnie does? I mean, what Fonnie see, Fonnie do? Is that what we're doing? I don't understand it. So I'm very concerned in this regard because I don't think, I mean, I enjoy political theater and I think this is just nothing more than theater because I know at the end of the day, whomever the Lord sees fit will be in the office. So that's not a confusing thing at all. However, I'm sorry, I'm reading what Neva says. See, I'm clearly not by myself. This is not an idea that I just ginned up. Clearly other people have noticed this and are like, wait, where are your ads at? Where's your push? If you are in fact going to unseat a incumbent. But now Mario Williams said, incumbents can't be beaten. Paul Howard, I mean, come on, the dude was entrenched. He was 30 years. That was all the time I've been in Georgia. He had been the DA and he was unseated. So it's doable, but why are you not doing it? That's all I'm wondering. I just don't understand. Thank you, Pearl Johnson. Pearl Johnson says someone go on her page to encourage her what she should be doing right now. I don't get it. I don't get it. Like, you should be dogmatic and you don't need, that's the thing. You don't need money to do it. So this whole, I haven't generated enough money, blah, blah, blah. Look, that's a fool's, that is an antiquated theory and idea. Unless there's some kind of thing that says you can't go on TikTok and you can't go on Twitter and you can't do a Facebook Live with your constituents. Unless there's some kind of rule, I don't understand what we're doing. What are we doing? I don't get it. I'm extremely concerned. The internet is free. Everyone can reach anyone these days. So imagine this. Fonnie Willis is going to rib shacks and weave and sandal locations, being dusty, trying to gin up support. But you literally are just FaceTime. You just literally turn on your phone and do a YouTube live to answer questions and the hard questions. So you literally, you allow people to send in questions, Courtney, and you answer the questions in real time. I mean, I'm just trying to help y'all out. I'm just trying to, I'm because I want to enjoy my popcorn while I'm eating. I'm eating while I'm watching the results come in. And I want to see a good fight. I've already told y'all that. I'm all about watching good fights. I'm all about watching good contests between equals and see how one strategically overcomes another one. I'm all about that. And if you're not going to step up to the plate, then when you're lost. I'm just saying. There we go. Right. Why would you not? Like, I would think that that's true as well. If so, maybe I don't understand it. Again, I'm brand new to my political strategy. I think we started. What time did we start this company? I think we started a week ago, like on Tuesday. We started our company, our consulting firm, on Tuesday. So we're pretty new to this thing. We're pretty green, right? It would make sense that you call the local newspaper, you call the local news outlets and say, hey, my name is Jason. I'm going to be doing a rally. I'm going to be speaking, answering, and taking questions, doing a presser outside of Fulton County Jail. I'm going to be doing it on aisle 4 at the Kroger. I'm going to be doing it outside of Quick Trip at the on Washington Avenue. And I'd love for y'all to come. You're welcome to come. Ask questions. I'll take questions and I'll give answers. Like, I see her on X, but why is she not everywhere? I don't see her. When I say this, I mean bullish. I need you to be bullish. Like, at the current moment, watch this. This is something. This is what I mean. And Courtney, my name is Jason, dearwokec@gmail.com. I'm just a Yahoo that's in his office yelling at a camera, okay? I know nothing. I am nobody. I'm just pointing something out to you. All right, let's look at the infamous pink dress, okay? Everybody knows about the pink dress. You know that the dress was on backwards. You know what the maker and design is. Y'all know that Fonnie, she needed to wear some Spanx and everything about it. But this is the thing that I want y'all to realize. Most of the videos that you've seen about this were not put out by news outlets. They were put out by average Joes and Janes, just normal people wanting to get into the algorithm, normal people that wanted to be a part of this conversation when Fonnie came in there like a Brahma bull talking about lies, lies, lies. But notice every time, look, all these pink, like, these are not news outlets. These are just normal dudes and dudettes. And the reason I bring that up is Courtney needs to get, she has to be memed. She has to be memed. So she's putting out content day over day over day. Because please understand, there's billions. I mean, look at this. One of these videos has 1 million views. This one right here already has 1 million views. This first one right here has 1 million views. This one right here is 619. That's no punk. This one right here got 964. It's on the cusp of 1 million views. That's 1 million people, 1 million impressions that have seen that pink dress, that seen that woman coming in talking about lies, lies. You've got it confused. You think I'm on trial. Courtney has got to get memed. She's got to. She's got to. This video right here has 15,000 views and it's from Fox News. I'm just saying. I'm only saying Courtney's got to get memed. She's got to. She's got to be dognacious, pugnacious, rock the nation, whatever, and get out here memed. She's got to get content out there, calling Fonnie on the carpet. Go to Bank of America and call out Fonnie that she stole money. I mean, just do it. Like, just because, matter of fact, like, okay, I hope I'm not sounding like I'm mean on Courtney. I believe she's probably a great person. She probably will make a great DA. Oh, spelled it wrong. Okay, so I just searched Amanda Timpson. I just put in Amanda Timpson. Look at this. Look at this. And her name is showing up all over the place. Now, it's showing up with Fonnie Willis's name, which is fine, but her picture's showing up. And I'm just saying, I'm seeing more Amanda Timpson than I'm seeing the woman that wants to unseat Fonnie Willis. That's all I'm saying. My name is Jason Deerwoksy@gmail.com. I'm not trying to be mean, but you have got to be pugnacious. I don't think we saw any talking heads with you this week. And if they're not calling you and inviting you to come talk, then doggone it, you need to turn your camera on and you need to talk. You need to do again. Otherwise, nobody's going to know who you are, Courtney. They're going to sit in that booth and they're going to be like, Fonnie Willis, I know. Courtney Kramer, I don't know. And there you go. And that's it. There we go, right here. Dear transplanted chameleon campaign consultants, in the chat with advice. I mean, I want to see a good fight. That's all. Give the audience a good fight. That's it. We want to see behind the scenes of your training camp. We want to see what your nutrition is like. We want to know the ins and outs of how you are planning and strategizing to take down your opponent on November 5th or whatever it is. We want to see all that stuff. Show us the fight tapes. Show us your training. Show us all of it. All of it. Show it all to us from morning to night, from a day in the life of a future DA. I don't care, but do it. Do it. Do it. Why are you not doing it, Courtney? I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't get it. I love this, Susie. She can go out like Green Arrow. Fonnie Willis, you have failed this city. Can you imagine that? Her standing outside of, this could go for a lot of things. You have failed this jail. She can stand outside Fulton County Jail. You've failed this city, stand outside of a gas station that had a shootout a couple weeks ago. You failed this community. And just there's enough crime-ridden places that she can highlight and point it out. She could do that. Why not? Nakia, I'm going to go with, I believe that I believe she's serious today. I reserve the right, my name is Jason, I reserve the right to change what I'm about to say. I believe that she is serious. She just doesn't know all the ins and outs, what she needs to do. Okay. It's just like when you start a business. My name is Jason. I own a podcasting studio. And one of the things, and I have many friends that own businesses, and we call it I don't like using this term, but it's the not SXy stuff. Because you might own a gym and everybody thinks that because you like picking up weights, that you're going to be a good gym owner. Or you might like to turn a wrench and fix cars, but people think you'll be a good mechanic and own a mechanic shop. Or you might be good at podcasting. People think you'll be a good podcast studio owner. That's not the case primarily because there's a lot of other things that are not impressive. They're not flattering. They're not appealing that you have to do. And a lot of the time, if you don't know, you will find out, you got to get insurance. You got to make sure that you pay the water bill. You got to make sure that you do the EPA and all these other things that you did not know about. You just said, hey, I just want to pick up weights. I just want to turn a wrench. I just want to own a studio. So I believe that running for political office has a very similar flavor to it, Nakia, that it's very possible that you could really want to do the task and the craft that you're trained for. So you want to be a lawyer. Okay. But owning your own law firm and do all of that stuff that goes along with it, you might be like, oh, it might be easier for me just to work with somebody rather than do my own thing. Because there's a lot of stuff that you don't realize until you actually get in the trenches with somebody who will train you, mentor you, or coach you, or you just find out by hook and crook, like, oh man, I gotta take out my quarterly taxes. Oh man, I gotta make sure I got this insurance thing done. Those kind of things that you don't know about and don't plan for. You just think, oh, I'm gonna open up a podcast studio, I'm gonna open up a ice cream shop or whatever. So maybe it's possible that she just didn't know. But again, I reserve the right to come back next Tuesday and say I think she's totally trolling and it's a wrap. But yeah, I think troll, maybe trolling might be a tough word. But again, if I come back next Tuesday and say, y'all, I feel like Courtney's playing games because I'm looking still here. If I'm looking, this will be the determinant. Today is the 26th. And so we got the 1st is Saturday. So we got all of this week coming up, I think, right? That sounds right, but I could be wrong. That sounds right. So before June 1st, this will be my determinant because, again, I'm trying my best to be a good consultant because, you know, I'm a what's called consultant. So I'm gonna just say Courtney Kramer. When I type in Courtney Kramer, if this is the first thing I still see, it's a wrap. So on Friday, if we do a show on Friday, if this is the first video I still see of Courtney Kramer come Friday, it's a wrap. And when I say that, there better be a whole bunch of other stuff I see. I bet not see this doggone video from 2 months ago. I bet not. I bet not. I bet not. I'm just saying. I understand YouTube is not an end all be all, but it's where a lot of people do in fact do searches and come to look for information before they go to Twitter, before they go to Instagram, before they go to Facebook. I mean, it's a search engine. And this is akin to saying you can put yourself on a search engine or you can just let the search engine do whatever it's going to do. No, this one right here, you actually put yourself, you can determine through some shenanigans how much you show up in the search engine. And at this current juncture today, I don't feel that Courtney Kramer is showing up in the search engine like she should. And again, it could be just because she had bad teaching, or maybe they said they're going to go hard in the paint tomorrow. Memorial Day, you're going to all the cookouts. You're going to go do the hike up the mountain with the flag. You're going to go see the veterans at the VA, and you're going to really kick it off like a champ. Okay, that's fine. I can respect that. Respect. But if you just hoping and a wishing, because again, I think, sure, I don't live in Fulton County, and most of the people in this chat are not Fulton Countyites either. But I don't think that should be your limiting factor. Say, well, I'm only going to worry about putting signs in Fulton County people's driveways. Okay, well, that's in yards. Yes, that's true. But by interacting, engaging, and talking with people outside, even in Fulton County, you're only going to spread out your reach. Somebody mentioned like Dana from the Real Dana Network. She really likes Courtney Kramer. Well, why does she like Courtney Kramer? Why? What has Courtney Kramer said? What has she done that makes you excited about her? What is it? That's my problem. Yeah, I think Nakia and I are very similar. We have similar opinions on this matter. I'm worried about it, but that's just my little 2 cents. No, persons, I don't have many clips. That's the problem that I'm sharing. That's actually the problem that I'm having, because I went to the YouTube, and again, I know YouTube is not the end all be all. You know what? Hold on. Let me do this. Let me get out of here. Go look on Twitter. Let me look on Twitter. Maybe that's why. Maybe I'm discouraged. Maybe I need to look on the Twitter box. All right. Now Twitter is the Wild West sometimes, so I gotta like take it with a grain of salt. I gotta take it with a grain of salt and be like, I don't know what I'm about to see. All right, let me see. Courtney Kramer. All right, let's see. Okay, I'm praying, y'all. I'm praying. All right, y'all. I don't feel good. All right. Okay, here we go. All right. I go to your website, your deal, your Twitter. And the first thing I see is the pinned comment. Y'all see that date? That's March 9th. Sweet Love, that's 2 months old. Can we move on from there? Okay, so I see you're highlighting Amanda. No problem. You know, let's look at your media. Let's look at your media. I'm not doing it. I'm not. This is from when you qualified. I think this is probably from when you qualified as well. It looks like the same day. Yeah, this is all that same qualification day. I really want to believe that. All right, y'all, come on. Insert the "come on, man." I only had the "come on, man" meme. I'm trying to be gracious. There's nothing else on here. Like, who is Courtney Kramer? All I got is a donate button and friends of Courtney, where they're located. Yeah, I'm gonna sign me up. Let's see if that happens. I'm okay, y'all. I'm too gracious, y'all, but I don't know if that's going. I don't know about this. It looks like you've abandoned your Twitter. Let's go back, Jason. Maybe. Okay, maybe let's look at the post, Jason. Maybe the pictures are not worth 1,000 words. Okay, Jason. That's okay. Okay, so here's a talking head interview, and this is May 22nd. Okay. All right, I'm going to give her, okay. This is Newsmax. I got you. Okay. So there was 2 talking heads, and most of these look, and this, okay, it looks like they were all riffing off of this one. John Fredericks, Outside the Beltway. Okay, so she did one. Okay, this is my only problem. And again, I'm not trying to pick. I'm not trying to just be nitpicky. Courtney, my name is Jason, dearwokesie@gmail.com. I really want the best for you. I want you to get into a good contention with Fonnie Willis, and I want you to unseat her. I think that will be a good thing. Why is this interview not all over the interweb? Here.
I just want to start out. We've been friends a long.
Hold on. Let's just do it, y'all. Come on. Nobody wanted to jump in, so we're just gonna do this. We're gonna just do this real quick. I was not intending to look at the this, but can you all real quick just chime in that you can hear it? Can y'all hear it? Let me just hit it real quick because I can't. I want to make sure it sounds fine in my ears. I just want to make sure it's good in yours.
I'm so proud of you for stepping up. A lot of other people talked about it, didn't want to pull the trigger. You're the one that did it. You're going to take it right to Fannie Willis. Look, Fulton County, Republican, you're a long shot in this race, but I don't care. The fact that you're in it and you're going to try to hold.
Okay, so looks like, thank you so much, Susie. You can hear it. All right, let's listen to it. Let's hear what she has to say. Maybe she'll inspire us. Maybe we'll all run out of here tonight. Maybe we'll run out here tonight and I'll go get, Courtney Kramer tattoos or something. I don't know. I need to be inspired. I don't even believe in tattoos, but I need you to inspire me, Courtney. I need it to happen. All right. I don't know, Texan. This is why we have a consulting firm. All right. So let's pull this back. I was not intending to do this, but let's just do it and let's see what happens. Please send me a picture, Shara, please. Okay, here we go. Let's go.
You're going to take it right to Fannie Willis. Look, Fulton County, Republican, you're a long shot in this race, but I don't care. The fact that you're in it and you're going to try to hold Fani Willis accountable is great for me and our audience. Thanks you for having the courage and the moxie to get in this race. What do you see here?
Well, good morning, John. Thanks for having me. Like you said, we've been friends for a long time. I'm excited about this race. I think you were one of the first people that I told that I was actually going to be running long after, not after that show, that Monday morning, but a couple days before I qualified, I was on your show and we were saying, we don't know who's going to get in that race. Well, I knew I was going to, but we wanted to keep it a little bit of a surprise. I see this race going really well for me, but also for Fulton County in general. I think that Fulton County has seen the missteps and the mishappenings in the Fulton DA's office under a Fani Willis administration over the last 3 years. I think they've seen it also prior to that with Paul Howard over 8 years. Fulton County is ready for a change. They're ready to have a choice in who their next DA is going to be. We have not had a Fulton County Republican candidate for DA in over 30 years, which is astounding to me. That's not how our electoral process is supposed to work. We are supposed to have diversity of thought and ideas. We're supposed to have this discourse. We're supposed to elect better people to higher office. We're supposed to elect people who are ethical, who are moral, who we can hold accountable, who have transparency in this office. What we've seen over the last 3 years, and I feel like each day we find out something new about Fani Willis, about something she did wrong, about something she has not been honest about. Fulton County's over that at this point. I know I'm over it. I'm born and raised here. The decision to run was easy for me. Fulton County's not safe anymore. No one wants to really live here anymore. No one wants to be south of Buckhead. Crime is all over the place. We're the biggest county in Georgia. We have the most resources of any other county in Georgia. We should be the safest county in Georgia. We should be an example of what a county is supposed to do and look like, but we're not. We're the exception to that rule. And I think that you're going to see a lot of the independent voters in Fulton County agree with me. And I think a lot of people are really sick and fed up with what they've seen going on in the DA's office thus far.
Tell us about the crime in Fulton County under Fani Willis. Has it gone up dramatically?
So her office keeps saying it has not gone up dramatically, but the problem is that when you don't prosecute crimes, the crime rate isn't going to go up, right? So it's kind of a catch-22 there. What I can tell you is that, and I like to give these facts to the audience, is that during the time the special grand jury was convened, there was 4,000 there could still be, but at least 4,000 untested rape kits that should have been processed, but they weren't. Instead, she used the money that should have gone to processing those rape kits to convene a special grand jury against President Trump. We have thousands of unindicted felonies right now. There's not going to be crime when you don't prosecute crime, right? But that doesn't mean there's not shootings every day, robberies every day, rapes every day, murders every day in Fulton County, which is what we see. I live here. I'm born and raised here. I know what's happening here. And I think that a lot of the, more left-wing media is going to portray her as fighting crime and whatnot. But the truth of the matter is, how can you fight so much crime or allege you're fighting so much crime when you have at least one judge in Fulton County who's stuck with the YSL case for 3+ years, not doing any other cases except that case? I think that we got to look at the numbers and got to be realistic about what crimes actually getting prosecuted. And if we're actually prosecuting criminals, I don't believe that we should be doing a lot more than what we are right now. And I think that the second I get into that office, I'm going to immediately look at where our resources are being spent, actually hire more ADAs like Bonnie promised, but didn't, and said she paid her boyfriend with that money. We've got to get Fulton back on the right track.
All right. What y'all think? What do y'all think about this? What y'all think? I see some great comments. Good points. That's what she needs every single time. All right. Yes. Show exactly how much Fani wants to help women who are victims get justice. There we go. Now, wait, I missed something else up here. Sorry. Mishaps. Call them what they are. Fraud. It is a great point, Susie. Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right. If she's friends with someone who has a morning show, why is this her only interview? She needs to have a regular spot. No argument for me. This is what I'm talking about. But I told y'all this on Tuesday. I said, they got to come out the gate hard. You got to come out. You cannot wait till Sunday to do the talking head. Now, this was done on Wednesday. Yes, it's Wednesday. This is my first time seeing it. Why has it not been memed? I'm going to download the video and I'm going to put it in Opus Clips and I'm going to make a couple of shorts out of it and I'm going to post them. But wait, sorry. It's playing in my ear. But why am I the first one doing it? Why are your friends not doing this? Why is your team not doing this? Courtney, holla at your boy. I'm trying to help you out. I'm here for you. I'm trying to tell you. I'm here for you. I'm looking out for you. You need to reach out to me. dearwokesy@gmail.com. Like, why is this the first time that I'm seeing this? That doesn't make sense. I wonder if Fred, what's his name? John Fredericks. I'm going to look for him on YouTube. Because, again, YouTube is the biggest search engine. Let's see if John Fredericks. And then we're going to get out of here. I'm not going to keep talking to you, harassing y'all all night. All right, John Fredericks. He doesn't even have a regular platform on YouTube. I don't know everything, but my goodness, in the morning. I do know that this is the biggest, Real American Voices. Okay, literally. Okay, let's see. Y'all, come on. I don't even see her on here. Okay, I'm sorry. Y'all like, what are you saying, Jason? Okay, I don't even see her on here. 6 days ago. So it should have been somewhere right here. Real American Voices, this is this channel. Yeah, I can't. I'm sorry. Y'all not trying to win. Y'all not playing. Y'all not serious. I'm sorry. Her teeth are white. I mean, like I always tell my students, if you brush them, show them. Like, go ahead and smile. Show your teeth. And this is, Nakia, I'm starting to feel you. I'm not sure if she is hungry enough yet. I'm there with you. These are good points that need to be shared every time. Absolutely. Okay, so I'm sorry if real time, if he really, okay. I need to look into that. Okay. Like I'm right there with you. At this point in the game, we got to be very, very clear. Transplanted Texan, part of my consulting firm, says, what is that example? Don't speak in generalities. Point out a Fannie failing and then state specifically what Courtney Kramer got it. A Fannie failing and a Courtney correction. She can say, Fannie failed here. This is how Courtney's going to correct it. Fannie failed here. This is how Courtney's going to correct it. Y'all write that down. Write that down. Send it to Courtney. Courtney, dearwokesy@gmail.com. I'm looking out for you. Yeah. She's got to come across better than that. I'm with you real time. I'm with you. I like a good fight. That's all I'm saying. I want a good scrap. She needs to be more moving. Yeah. Now, I will say, let me give you, I think her message was clear, understood what she's saying. I just think this is a message when you're not going against an incumbent. This is a message when you got a year and a half to go, not 5 months, and not against an incumbent. That's the problem I feel. And Republicans have never won. So there's a lot of things that you got uphill. There's a steep hill that you got to fight up. All right, what we got? Yeah, with the audit. Start with the audit. So you know what? We're going to do an audit. We're going to do a whole audit. We're going to submit the whole DA office to an audit. So you all know where your money's going from the word go. And you'll know how bad the money is and where the money isn't when I come in the office. Courtney correction. That's what she should call it, a Courtney correction and a Fannie failing. Come on now. Come on. We're cooking up here with Mario. We're cooking with Chef Mario. We're cooking with Chef Mario. Does she really feel it? I don't know. That's a great question. Is this okay? Maybe he's on Rumble. Okay, I like it. It's very possible. You should live stream you calling her law firm to find out what their problem, and also offer her social media services. That would be funny. That would be hilarious. That would be hilarious. This is from 9 months ago. What is that, Susie? Susie posted something. I know it's probably good, whatever it is. All right, let's see what we got here. Suze, what did you post? What did you send, Suze? Oh, so she was on his show 9 months ago. Okay. Yeah, I just... Okay. So, all right. So she was on John Frederick's show 9 months ago. Again, she should be on the show every day, but she should be doing it herself. That doesn't need to wait for somebody to call her and schedule it. She could be doing this herself, in my opinion. And maybe I'm wrong. Problems and solutions. This is the problem. Here's my solution. Here's the problem. I got a solution. The problem exists. Here's the solution. Come on. That's it. Come on, Courtney, holler at your boy. I'm here to help you out. I'm here to help you out. You're going to have to get down and dirty. I agree. All I'm saying is, even before we get down and dirty, at least show that, you know what, I got the ability to put these paws on you, okay? And at the current moment, I don't think anybody believes you put them paws on anybody. So if you came out there and really was like, and really, look, I'm outside of your local Dunkin' Donut that got robbed 3 times last month. Bang, this is a problem. My solution is this. I'm just trying to tell you. Wow, Shara. I understand what you're saying, and I'm reading it. I really hate that, but I can understand what you're saying. Like I said, at this current moment, I reserve the right to change my mind. I think she's just not aware that she needs to really put the foot on the gas. Because again, like she's already got a lap or 2 or 3 on you already. So if you're going to catch her, you really going to have to put in, really going to have to put the foot on it for sure. But that is my little 2 cent, if you will. I think that's it. I love it, y'all. Thank y'all. All right, so let's do this, my good people. The best chat on the planet. There we go. Now we not only we a cooking show, we're a political campaign show. We're here for everybody. We're here for everyone here at Dear Woke Christian. We're here to help everybody. We're here to help the political candidates. We're here to help lawyers. We're here to help everybody. All right, so tomorrow is Memorial Day. I plan to do a live stream tomorrow because I got a lot of time. So how about we do this again tomorrow? Might start a little bit earlier. I can see what time I get done barbecuing and grilling tomorrow. But after that, we get on here, we just chop it up. I got some good stuff in the traps I already know that we're going to talk about. So that'll be a lot of fun. But I do want to say thank you to everybody, not only those people that watched this live, not only those people that supported me, but every last one of you that have throughout the time, whether either day one or this is your first day, it doesn't matter. I want to say thank you so much. Thank you to all the members. Thank you to all of the subscribers. It means a lot to me, and I really do appreciate it. I do want to let you know, if you don't mind, that we have hit 30 subscribers. 30 members, which is a great deal. So I really do appreciate it. I did drop the newest shirt. We started out with Atlanta must be stopped. I ran a poll to ask you which city needed to be stopped next. The overwhelming majority of you all agreed that Chicago must be stopped, whether it be politically or bad preaching. So the Chicago must be stopped shirt is on my website, and you can go to dearworldchristian.com and click the link, or I can put the link down in the chat as well. And either way, I think you'll enjoy the shirt. So hopefully you'll go grab a hold of it. I'll make sure that I got a couple questions about female sizes. So I got to get in touch with, tomorrow, customer service tomorrow. I don't know what happened with that, but I'll make sure I get that answered for you. But I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much. I'm gonna drop this link in the chat if you want to go check out the shirts. Check them out. There's Atlanta must be stopped, as well as Chicago and a couple other fun shirts as well. There's a Father's Day one coming in there. In there as well. So that might be fun to check out also. So everybody, thank y'all so much. I really do appreciate it. Shout out to all of the gracious and very kind donations from the super chats, as well as buy me a coffee. I appreciate all of that. It really means a lot. And I'm hoping, as I like to say, I do want to leave this out there. If you do have contact with anybody that needs it, that we can have on as a guest, Courtney Kramer or Mario Williams or any of those people, those great people, I would love to talk to them. Definitely just go ahead. I deputize you to say, hey, reach out to Jason at dearwokec@gmail.com. He would love to have you come on the show and talk about all the great things that you're doing or whatnot. So I appreciate each and every one of y'all. Let's do this again tomorrow. I'll make sure the thumbnail is up early so you can plan accordingly. And until then, everybody, grace and peace. I'll see you soon. Take care.